Welcome back, folks. We got a great show today. We got a guest, Adrian Resto. And of course, I'm your host, Brian Escobar, my partner in crime, your other host with the most, Walter Duncan is here.
Yes,
And we got a great guest for you tonight, guys. How you doing, Walt?
I'm doing good, man. I'm excited to have Adrian on, excited for him to share his knowledge, his story, and learn a little bit about this ICP model we're going to talk about.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So,
Adrian, let's
yeah,
get into it.
Yeah, exactly, man. The floor is
Okay.
yours. Let us know. Tell us about yourself, sir.
Well, I've been in payroll for about 15 years. Like many payroll people, I fell into it. I was working at Best Buy actually, and then a friend of mine took me. He was an internship coordinator at Brook College, where I went to school, and he had an internship from sales. I think he had two internships, and he said, "I'm done with this other one. It's at this company. It's a software company called Wireless Generation, and it's like, yeah, sure." He was like, "It's an HR." So I started off as an HR intern, went to an HR coordinator, spent a year there as an HR coordinator, and then my position got eliminated. But in restructuring the HR team, they moved payroll to finance. And they gave me the option. You can take 2 months severance or you can go with payroll. I went with payroll.
Heck yeah.
Wow.
Little to no experience in payroll, but I had no experience in Excel at all. And at that point, all the systems were extremely manual, but yeah, I got into payroll and I never looked back since. It's been a hell
Yes.
of a ride.
You know what I
Yeah.
was saying? I was like, wow, we're gonna hear his origin story. And I was like, I hope folks don't get tired of it. I don't get tired of hearing origin stories. What about you,
No,
Walt?
no, not
Right?
at all. I love hearing how everybody got in. Like, this is the
Yeah.
first time I've ever heard somebody say that they were at Best Buy and then they just got into payroll.
The
Security at that.
Security at
the
Best Buy.
I love the ultimatum. You
That's really what it was. It it was presented to me that way. Your job's being eliminated. You can either take this
gotta
two
keep a
months severance.
job, no job, no job.
And when my resume has 1 year of experience as a HR coordinator and then 3 years as a loss prevention officer at Best Buy, I thought, let me just hold on to this one and see where it goes with this payroll thing. And
Wow.
yeah, jumped into payroll there and I was there for another 8 years. Uh, and I left there as their payroll manager. I'll never forget what my manager said there when I left. He said, when you came here, you knew nothing about Excel. And now, who am I going to ask questions to?
Wow.
Okay. And he taught me a lot of Excel. I always went on YouTube and looked at different videos. I read a couple books.
Yep.
I never took a course, but when you're in the grind, the daily grind and payroll, and you're sitting in a finance department and your responsibilities include accruals and journal entries and things like that, you got to learn some tricks in Excel. So
Yep.
I definitely, I got pretty acquainted with Excel there.
All right.
Yeah. And what happens with Excel is you like you said, you drill into what you need for that job, right? And unless you get other exposures, oh, you become that
Yeah.
expert. You quickly have to know what you need for that job.
Yeah.
So yeah, no one will ever know it all.
That's a good point because I think sometimes we take for granted the importance of Excel or
Mhm.
Google Sheets now and how
Yes.
vital it is for a payroll role. So
Yes.
yeah, thank you for mentioning that because I don't really think we even touched on that on the show so much
You're
about
right.
Excel. And
No,
so
you're right.
thank you for
You're right.
mentioning
I mean, I think we always mention it like in passing. Oh,
it.
Excel, Excel, Excel. Never, hey guys, you need Excel.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's been crucial. When I left that company, so I was there for 9 years. And when I left that company, I went to another company that doesn't exist anymore called Managed by Q. And they were probably the hardest payroll I had to process just because of the complexities. They had different hourly workers that were paid at different rates. They
Mhm.
were given raises based on tenure, not on performance. And it was like a quarter or 40 cents, depending on the job function. So they were different. These employees would go to different offices and they'd work 1 hour here as a helper, 2 hours at this other office as a handyman, 1 hour as an assistant here. There was travel time in between. We had a homegrown.
That's nuts.
We had a homegrown time and attendance. It wasn't even time and attendance. It was called Super Panel, and it was where everybody clocked in and clocked out. This reporting came from there. It would tell you where they were. It would tell you what job they did, how long they were there. But there was no calculations of overtime. We were in California. If you know anything about California as well,
You already know.
overtime is very different over there.
Yep.
I had to calculate all that by itself. I had to also do the journal entries, split out everybody's pay by where they were at that moment. So like for those 2 hours that they worked at Uber, 2 hours they worked at BuzzFeed, 2 hours they worked at some other company, and then the travel time in between. And then on the journal entry side, I had to split all that, split the travel time. I had to calculate overtime manually. I remember, I think I had a 30-page Excel sheet. It was, but
Yep.
had I not had that background in Excel, I would have never been able to do that. And when
Yeah.
I started that job, they were getting timesheets. Bless you.
Thank
When
you.
I started that job, they were getting timesheets in this other kind of system called Typeform, where basically as
heard
an
of Typeform.
employee, you would write your name in week 1 hours and week 2 hours, and that was it. And we were honor based. It was a very scrappy, extremely scrappy startup. But
Oh,
we
wait.
got-
How many employees?
probably when I started, I want to say maybe like 400 to 500.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And by the time, I think at its peak, somewhere around 800 to 1,000.
Oh, wow.
Managed by Q team can correct me if I'm wrong there, but I'm pretty sure it was pretty high because we were in New York, we were in Chicago, San Francisco, and LA.
Did the processes get better as it grew? Were you able to update a little bit, automate, improve process?
For sure, for sure. When I first got there, we were on a PEO, so we're on professional. And they basically did everything. We just manually keyed in the hours, and that was basically the payroll. We switched from there. I went to OT Pro, which is now UKG.
Mhm.
And then maybe a year or a year and a half later, we switched to ADP's
Oh, wow.
Workforce Now. But yeah, the processors got better. The timesheets never really got better. We had that homegrown system where we were able to extract.
You
more
never
data.
moved off the homegrown system?
No, because they used it for billing as well.
I get it. See, yeah. And we talk about that, how like it's meant for something else. And then just they happen to have a payroll or a time module and you get stuck using it.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
It was,
Wow.
again, very scrappy. We got it done, but I owe a lot to that company.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just the versatility there, the group of people who I still keep in contact with.
That's-
And actually keep in contact with the Amplify folks too. It's a no. But so Amplify, Wireless Generation turned into Amplify. But yeah, they taught me so many different things. I can remember one of my managers there teaching me this green, yellow, red system in Excel, where so anything I got was a source. I'd make a copy of it, and then in red, I would leave this original source there, and the copy would be in yellow because that'd be my worksheet, and what I delivered would be in green.
I like that.
It was a former Nugget guy.
Yes. Yes.
And that's, I guess, how they used to do it. But that kind of stuck with me, and I actually brought that with me to a couple of places.
for sure.
So whenever the auditors came, we have the source. It's untouched, direct from the system. It's the worksheet. It's the work I performed, and this is the end result, where high level presentation piece.
Yep. That is. So I do something similar. It's not colors that I do control and then working file. And then I usually break off the presentation one of it. But that's similar. I like that. I like that color. Yeah, man. That's definitely a nugget.
Adrian just dropped the nugget, guys.
Yep. Free game, folks. Write it down. Write it down.
Thank Mr. Philip King for that one. He's like,
Hey, thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. King.
Thank you for tuning in to It's About Payroll. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and most importantly, keep going.